Beer Mail episode number 20 of...
Brutal Battle.
Yes, continuing the Kyle Norman Beer Mail train. This is the third installment, and we have...
more to come.
What, 3 more maybe?
Yeah.
We do have an odd number, so we might do something else with that where I think we have an older beer that someone else had given us, so that could technically be lumped into the Beer Mail, so it might be like a half Kyle Norman, half someone else one. So, I don't know, we'll see. But for now, it's Kyle Norman beers, and we have a light one to start, we have a dark one to finish. They're both interesting because it's a light one with fruit and then a dark one with fruit. Mm-hmm. So how do these two fruit-driven beers pair up against each other? We don't know. Well, let's find out. First one, this is by Voodoo Brewing Company. They're out of Meadville, Pennsylvania. 16-ounce can. It's called Beach Gear. It's a blonde ale with apricots. And it's... Sounds good. Yeah, it does sound good. And 5.6% alcohol. There's a date code. Although on something like this, it wouldn't matter as much just because it's not like heavy on the hops. The hops tend to fall out more over time.
Fruit might fall out.
I mean, this is about 5 months in the can. Okay. Oops. I just cut my nails, so it's a little hard to get this. Struggling. Come on. There we go. Got it. Okay. Here we go. Pour for my co-hosts. Oh, it looks really clear.
Looks like a blonde.
I love how clear it's looking. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And we haven't had anything from Voodoo in a long time. I'm talking years we haven't had anything from Voodoo.
I didn't even know we had something.
Yeah, we've had some Voodoo stuff before. They're not distributed in Maryland. Well, I don't think they're distributed in Maryland. But yeah, I mean, we haven't had them for a long time. This is really orange looking. It may be apricot in appearance, potentially.
Oh, it smells so good.
Yeah, I love how clear it is. Yeah, what does it smell like? Ooh, that's so fruity. It's so fruity.
I would say peach.
Yeah, it does smell more peach than apricot for sure.
I don't know if...
Do they actually...
I don't know the last time I've had an apricot.
I'm trying to see if it says, like, the ingredients, because... Sometimes they'll use another fruit to kind of boost a fruit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a possibility that there's actually some peaches in there as well, even though it's like supposed to be an apricot beer, just to kind of like boost it up.
You think they would probably...
Oh, no, wait. Here we go. Ingredients. Water, barley, wheat, apricot, hops, yeast.
Okay.
So no, I mean, it's just very peachy smelling apricots.
And you get...
It smells really good.
There's a creaminess to it.
There is a creaminess to it. That's very interesting.
But there's no lactose or anything in it.
No.
Or milk sugar or anything.
There's a very, like, clean, crisp smell on the end of it. It's just like, it's like real heavy fruit in the beginning with a nice sweetness. And then it just kind of dissipates into this nice, like, almost lager-ish fresh crispness on the end.
I hope it tastes like it smells. It's very appealing to me.
It's got a little straw and honey on the finish, too. Which I think is interesting.
Getting the, like, it just is like peaches and cream to me.
Peaches, apricots, and creams.
Yeah. I'm going in.
It does smell very good. Very, very good.
Has more of a bitterness than I would have thought.
It doesn't really smell bitter at all, but there is a decent bitterness on the flavor. On the very end of it. It's like a medium bitterness, like straight up medium. I was not expecting that at all.
I think it's more of like a heavy bitterness.
Medium, yeah.
Not. I was smelling.
Fruity.
I was perceiving sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting sweetness.
I get sweetness immediately, sweetness up front, and then that bitterness just like jumps in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bitterness jumps in and kind of squashes it after you're perceiving it for a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of want that sweetness in the fruit to kind of linger a little bit more.
And to carry through, yeah. I like it as is, to be honest. I like that more bitter finish. It makes it seem like it's even more of a beer.
Sure.
Because with these lighter styles, when you put a lot of fruit into it, which this does taste like it has a good amount of like apricot, which is tasting very peachy, like we said with the nose. When you have that going on, a lot of times it can just be get too sweet,
yeah.
too driven by the fruit, and it can kind of not start tasting like a beer so much.
Yeah, sure. That's happened to us.
Yeah, so to have that like real bitter finish, like it kind of reminds me more
I'm
it's a
not
beer.
like hating on the bitterness, but it should be dialed back a little bit so it's more balanced.
Sure. Yeah. There's a nice honey flavor that kind of carries through the whole thing, and straw. Like I was saying, in the nose, I was getting like a honey and straw on the end of the smell. I'm getting a honey and straw in the flavor that carries the whole way.
Okay.
Which I'm really enjoying, actually, as a nice backbone to the fruit. I really like this.
Yeah, it's tasty.
I really enjoy this beer.
I think you like it more than I do.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's very tasty, but it's also like light and also a
Yeah.
little bit refreshing. It could be more refreshing if that bitterness was dialed down, but I'm good with it. I like it.
Okay. Moving on to the second one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The second one is also in a 16-ounce can. It is by Grist House, and they're out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is called Reignite the Rivalry. It is a berry stout. It's 7%.
Yeah, and it has all the ingredients are.
And it is a stout brewed with blackberries, vanilla beans, and lactose.
Which sounds awesome. Plus, it's been a bit since we had Grist House. I think the last time we had Grist House stuff was when we had just come back from our trip to Pittsburgh, and we did our Pittsburgh excursion episode.
Which was over 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while. And I remember that everything we had from Grist House we enjoyed.
Oh, you're supposed to scan this QR code for the canning date and beer facts.
Oh, well, that's an
I haven't
interesting way
seen
to
that
do
before.
That is an interesting way to do it for sure. Okay, well, let's see if I struggle to open this one.
You need my help?
No, I'm using 2 nails this time. Before I was using the 1-finger technique. Now I'm using the 2-finger technique. It's a lot easier that way.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Well, people need to know. I don't know if there's someone else struggling out there with short fingernails.
The 1-finger technique. Okay, and surprise, surprise, it's dark. That's like
that looks
dark.
Thick.
Yeah, that dark chocolate.
That is thick. Like the pour on it, very viscous. Just like this real thick, dark pour to it. There's a lot of head on the top that is super dark. It's very, very
brown. The beer
brown.
itself is it's just dark, dark, dark.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not quite motor oil, but it's getting there. There's a lot of ashiness.
Yeah.
Super ashy.
I was going to say chalk.
Chalky, ashy. There's a little bit of
soy sauce.
Soy sauce. That one goes out to Kelly Norman. She loves it when we say soy sauce in it.
Dark chocolate.
Yeah, tons of dark chocolate.
I'm not perceiving any of the berry, are you?
I get a slight fruitiness.
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to pick out what it is, but it's just this real small hint of a fruitiness. And it does smell creamy. So the lactose is definitely coming through in that. It's really got this kind of like rich creaminess.
Yeah, I think you're right on the fruit. As I'm sniffing, I'm getting a little bit more. I wouldn't be able to pick out that it's blackberry, but because I know it's blackberry, I can say, oh yeah, that's blackberry.
Okay. I tasted it. I'm interested to see what you say. What are your thoughts on this one? I think it tastes the way it smells.
Yeah, it really does. It's very ashy.
It's like exact. I mean, and that's the first thing I noticed when I taste it. It's that real like ashy chalkiness with a lot of dark chocolate going on in there. I do get that fruitiness again, just like in the nose. It's like a vague fruitiness.
Yeah.
And it's very creamy. And, the lactose is doing a lot for the creaminess of it.
What's your vanilla level? You getting vanilla? Because I'm not really picking up a ton of vanilla.
I think the vanilla is getting lost.
And that dark chocolate ashiness.
Yeah, the ash and the dark chocolate's taking that over too much. I am getting, as I continue to sip it more, a coffee. Like a decent coffee aspect coming through, which I am enjoying. I'm liking the coffee of it. And that's also making the bitterness of it grow as you continue to sip it.
I'm interested to see what this tastes like as it warms up even more. Like we had them warming on the counter for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, but not a whole lot of time. See how the flavors.
Yeah, the berries aren't super present now.
No.
It might be a situation. Do we want to try and scan the
I would
QR
say let's
code?
see how old this bad boy is.
Yeah, because if it is on the older end, it's possible that the fruit's just kind of fallen out some. I don't know. Let me see if I even can get this to scan.
I know we've been having problems with the QR codes recently.
I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Here we go.
What do you find now?
How fast are we? Oh, it's loading. Literally says we're okay. So it gives you the information about canned in September of last year. So that's going to do it.
So that's almost a year old.
Yeah, it's at this point we're recording in August,
beginning of August
of 2023. It's like a month out from being a year old.
Okay, so the berry could have fallen out.
So yeah. So all things considered, it's a good beer. I mean, I assume that when it was fresher, it had a lot more of that berry.
And maybe more vanilla.
Probably more vanilla, yeah, because vanilla does have a tendency to fall out over time. So yeah, it was probably more vanilla, more berry. It's still a good beer, though. Mm-hmm. I still definitely enjoy it. I think I'm going to prefer the beach gear. I really love this beach gear.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to it.
It's so just like bright and light and refreshing, but it's also very rich in flavor. I'm really, really into it. I'm really into this beer.
Yeah, I agree. I think number one, I think that I like the beach gear more.
Wait, what was the ABV on the beer?
7.
7. That's not bad.
Yeah.
With how thick it is and how serious of a beer it tastes like, I would assume it'd be higher than that.
No.
Although in either of these beers, I'm not really perceiving much alcohol. So, I mean, we shouldn't perceive that on the beach gear because it's 5.6. You could potentially perceive it on the Reignite the Rivalry, but I'm not perceiving it. But yeah, no, 2 good ones. Mm-hmm. I'm happy with this. We'll happily drink these. Do you want any of the beach gear going forward?
You can have it.
Just all of it?
Yeah.
You want all of the Reignite the Rivalry? All right. Beach gear.
I mean, you like it way more than I do.
I love it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm all about this beer.
I mean, I like it, but that bitterness is like... I still like it more than the stout, but...
It's been a long time.
You like it more than I do.
It's been a long time for Voodoo beers, but this is a great return for us to drinking some Voodoo. Makes me want more of it, if this is what it's like. Cool. Well, thanks everyone for checking this out. Real quick, we'll do the things. If you want to reach out to us, brutalbattlepodcast@gmail.com. If you want back episodes, brutalbattle.com or archive.org. Search Brutal Battle. We are on Untapped. I'm Carlton Malibu, all one word, spells as it sounds.
I am Ruby Reb 62, although I haven't checked into anything in a very long time.
You had a stint where you were doing really well.
I know. I go through phases.
Yeah, and then you just straight up quit. And then I wasn't checking into much of anything for a while because
you weren't drinking.
My issue. Yeah, I wasn't drinking for months. But now I'm back in it, and I check into everything. So, yeah. Also, Instagram.
Brutal Battle Podcast.
And then if you could help us out, word of mouth, tell people about the podcast. Also, rating and reviewing us through whatever podcatcher you use. iTunes always helps the most, but, whatever you use, totally good. There's so many of them out there. But regardless, thank you, everyone, for listening to this, and until next time,
keep it brutal.
I feel so